meaning. They are wired to search for what they cannot easily possess. And when a woman carries emotional depth wrapped in mystery, she becomes unforgettable. Not because she hides who she is, but because she shows just enough to leave space for the mind to wonder. Psychologists know this truth well. The brain releases more dopamine during the chase than after the reward. That means the unknown excites the mind more than the known. The tension of not fully understanding, the spark of curiosity, that is where real desire lives. When you understand this, you begin to see why men cannot resist emotional mystery. It is not manipulation. It is not a game. It is nature. It is psychology. It is the way human attraction has always been wired. But here's where it gets deeper. Men don't just want what they cannot have. They crave what feels alive, what feels layered, what feels infinite. A mystery is never finished. It never reaches an end. And that endlessness is what makes it powerful. When you become a person who is not fully predictable, not fully explained, you give others the greatest gift, the gift of imagination. They don't just see you as you are. They see you as someone to explore, someone to discover, someone to pursue. And that pursuit is what locks their attention on you. Most people reveal too much too soon. They think openness equals connection, but connection is not built by dumping everything at once. Connection is built through rhythm, through silence, through space, through curiosity. If you take away the space, you take away the chase. And when there's nothing left to chase, desire dies. So let me ask you again, what truly draws people to one another? Is it the endless talking, the constant availability, the easy access? Or is it the pause, the unspoken, the hint of something more that lingers in the air? Deep down, you know the truth. It's the mystery that stays in the mind. It's the mystery that burns in the heart. If you've ever felt overlooked, if you've ever felt that people lose interest too quickly, then you need to hear this message until the very end. Because once you understand how emotional mystery works, you will hold a key that most people never discover, a key that unlocks respect, attraction, and power in ways you cannot imagine. This is not about changing who you are. This is about revealing who you are in a way that compels people to lean closer. By the end of this journey, you will see why Jordan Peterson teaches that meaning is not found in what is easy, but in what requires effort. Emotional mystery requires effort. It demands patience. It forces others to rise to the challenge of understanding you. And when people work for something, they value it more. That is human psychology at its core. So stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal could change the way you see yourself and the way others see you forever. If you stay until the end, you'll walk away with the most powerful truth about desire, that you don't need to be louder. You don't need to be more available. You don't need to give everything away. Your strength lies in the silence between your words, in the depths of your emotions, in the mystery you allow to remain. This is your reward for staying. Clarity, power, freedom, the knowledge that you don't have to fight for attention. You only need to guard your depth and let others chase what they cannot fully hold. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to embody this mystery in your life and why men can't resist it. So let's begin. Word count, approximately 880 words. Do you want me to now continue with section 2, the nature of desire, in the same style? Perfect. I'll continue seamlessly into section 2, the nature of desire, keeping it in the same deep motivational flow, 800 to 900 words, professional, psychology-based, and without repeating the earlier sentences or ideas. It will feel like a direct continuation from section 1, without mentioning Jordan Peterson or announcing future sections. Just pure script for voiceover. 2, the nature of desire. Desire begins where certainty ends. What is fully explained loses its spark, but what remains uncertain fuels the fire of curiosity. Human beings are not moved by what they already hold in their hands. They are moved by what feels slightly out of reach, just beyond their grasp. That tension between wanting and not fully having creates energy. It creates movement. It creates hunger. Look at the way the mind works. When something is known, the brain processes it, accepts it, and then quickly sets it aside. It becomes familiar. But when something is unknown, the brain cannot rest. It circles around it. It obsesses. It imagines. It fills in the blanks with endless possibilities. And those possibilities are always more powerful than one single reality. This is why mystery becomes irresistible. It doesn't just create attraction, it awakens the very machinery of desire itself. Desire is not random. It follows patterns wired deep into our psychology. At its core, desire thrives on tension, the space between what is seen and what is hidden, what is given and what is withheld. That space is where the human mind creates stories. It is where the heart beats faster, where energy builds, where attraction grows into obsession. Without tension, there is no desire. Without uncertainty, there is no pursuit. This is why men in particular are drawn to emotional mystery. Their nature is wired toward movement, challenge, and conquest. But conquest without challenge is meaningless. When something is too easy, the sense of value disappears. When something requires patience, attention, and imagination, it becomes worth chasing. Men don't fall for what is handed to them. They fall for what demands more of them. That demand is what awakens their deepest instincts. Think about it. A treasure lying on the ground, unguarded, is overlooked. But a treasure hidden, locked away, or partially revealed, that treasure becomes priceless. The worth is not just in the treasure itself, but in the effort required to reach it. Human psychology magnifies value when effort is demanded. The harder the climb, the sweeter the summit. The more uncertain the outcome, the greater the desire to win. Desire is not about possession, it's about motion. It's about the journey from not having to striving, from wondering to seeking. When something feels infinite, layered, never fully conquered, the pursuit never ends. That is why mystery sustains attraction far longer than exposure ever could. Mystery doesn't die because it cannot be fully solved. It keeps feeding the mind over and over, like a fire that never burns out. Most people misunderstand this. They believe desire comes from giving more, sharing more, opening more, but in truth, giving everything too soon destroys the very spark they want to create. The psychology of desire teaches us that the unknown is stronger than the known. The mind feeds on unanswered questions. When there is more to discover, attention stays alive. When discovery ends, desire fades. So ask yourself, why do certain people stay unforgettable while others vanish from memory? It isn't beauty alone. It isn't intelligence alone. It is the emotional mystery they carry within them. They reveal themselves in fragments, never all at once. They allow space for imagination. They awaken desire not by giving everything away, but by letting others work to uncover their layers. This is why the nature of desire is so powerful. It keeps the human brain alive with energy. Every man, consciously or unconsciously, is pulled toward what stretches his imagination. And imagination is limitless. When you leave room for imagination, you don't just create attraction, you create meaning. You give someone a purpose to seek, to learn, to earn the right to understand you. That purpose binds them stronger than anything you could hand over freely. The truth is, desire is never about satisfaction. Satisfaction ends the chase. Desire is about longing. And longing only lives in the gap between reality and possibility. That gap is where the strongest emotions grow. And when you understand how to create that gap, when you master the art of revealing just enough and withholding just enough, you unlock a power that never weakens. Every man is chasing something: success, recognition, fulfillment, purpose. Yet when it comes to connection, what captures him is not completion but mystery. Completion ends the story. Mystery keeps the story alive. This is the essence of desire. It thrives not in having, but in the endless pursuit of what is not fully known. And here lies the hidden truth. When you embody emotional mystery, you are no longer just a person in someone's life. You become a story they cannot stop reading. You become a question they cannot stop answering. You become a dream they cannot stop chasing. That is the true nature of desire. It is not logical. It is not controlled. It is not chosen. It is triggered by the unknown. And the unknown has always been the strongest force pulling human beings forward. So remember this. What is ordinary is predictable, and what is predictable is forgettable. But what is mysterious becomes extraordinary. And what is extraordinary lives forever in the human heart. Word count approximately 870 words. Would you like me to now continue with section 3, why mystery creates power in the same style and flow? Understood. I'll now move into section 3, why mystery creates power, continuing naturally from section 2 with a professional, motivational, psychology-based flow. It will be 800 to 900 words in pure script form, ready for voiceover. No repetitions from earlier sections, no mentions of the speaker, no meta-commentary, just powerful delivery. 3, why mystery creates power. Power is not given. Power is created in the way you carry yourself, in the way you shape perception, in the way you make others feel. And nothing builds more silent power than mystery. Mystery is not weakness, it is not emptiness, it is strength cloaked in silence. It is presence without explanation. It is depth without exposure. And when people encounter mystery, they cannot ignore it. They must respond to it. Think about what happens in the human mind when faced with mystery. Curiosity awakens. Imagination begins to run. Questions rise. The absence of full understanding forces the brain to work harder. And the harder the brain works, the more invested it becomes. This is the secret of power. Not controlling others directly, but engaging their mind so deeply that they cannot turn away. Mystery does exactly that. When something is uncertain, it becomes more valuable. People instinctively place higher worth on what they cannot easily obtain. The simple truth is this: scarcity creates desire, and mystery is a form of scarcity. It withholds information, it limits access, it keeps something just out of reach. That gap transforms ordinary interest into obsession. It is not manipulation, it is how the human mind is wired to value what is rare and elusive. Power is measured by the attention you command, and attention is never commanded by what is obvious. It is commanded by what sparks curiosity. This is why mystery elevates you above the crowd. While others spill everything, explain everything, expose everything, the one who holds back carries an aura of influence. They seem untouchable. They seem greater than they are. And the perception of greatness creates real power. Understand this, people. Don't fall in love with what they fully know. They fall in love with what they are still discovering. They respect what challenges them, what forces them to rise, what makes them wonder. Mystery creates that challenge. It silently communicates, I cannot be fully understood in a moment. I am more than what you see. If you want to know me, you must earn it. That unspoken message commands respect. It is not arrogance. It is self-respect radiating outward. The strongest leaders, the most magnetic personalities, the unforgettable figures in history all carried mystery. They did not reveal everything. They let their actions speak louder than explanations. They let silence do the work of 1,000 words. And because they were not predictable, people gave them attention, loyalty, and reverence. The unknown made them larger than life. Mystery has always been a foundation of power. Consider how the mind responds to anticipation. When something is delayed, when it is uncertain, when it cannot be immediately satisfied, the mind builds tension. That tension becomes energy, and energy fuels desire. Mystery is anticipation turned into influence. It teaches others that they cannot consume you in one glance, cannot grasp you in one moment. They must come closer, wait longer, invest deeper. That is power, drawing others in without chasing them, making them seek you without you lifting a hand. Most people throw their power away by giving everything at once. They think that openness proves worth. But the truth is the opposite. When you reveal too much too quickly, you erase curiosity. You remove the tension that drives desire. You hand over all the power to the other person, leaving nothing for them to work for, nothing to earn, and without effort, there is no respect. Mystery prevents this loss. Protects your value by forcing others to meet you with energy, with effort, with commitment. Power is not about control over others. It is about control over yourself. When you choose restraint instead of exposure, patience instead of desperation, you build an inner strength that radiates outward. People feel it. They sense it. They know they cannot consume you cheaply, and that realization elevates you in their eyes. Mystery is not hiding. It is choosing what deserves to be revealed and what must remain sacred. That choice is what creates authority. The human heart is restless. It longs for pursuit. It craves challenge. It thrives on the feeling that there is more to uncover. Mystery gives the heart what it craves. It does not overwhelm with noise. It whispers. It suggests. It leaves space for imagination to expand. And imagination always paints you in colors brighter than reality could ever provide. That is why mystery magnifies your presence, why it amplifies your influence, why it grants you silent power that others cannot resist. The truth is simple. Mystery transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. It turns simple words into poetry, small gestures into symbols, fleeting moments into memories that last a lifetime. It multiplies your value not because you changed who you are, but because you change the way others experience you. And the way people experience you is everything. Perception is reality. Mystery shapes perception. And perception creates power. Remember this, the loudest voices fade, the most available presences are forgotten, but the mysterious always remain. They live in the mind long after the moment has passed. They hold space in the heart long after distance has grown. That is power, not temporary attention, but lasting influence. Not empty noise, but unforgettable presence. Mystery does not make you less seen, it makes you unforgettable. It is the quiet strength that draws others into your orbit, the invisible force that commands their focus, the silent authority that compels them to respect you. That is why mystery creates power. Because power is not in being everywhere. It is in being irreplaceable. Word count, approximately 890 words. Would you like me to continue with section 4, the contrast with predictability in the same tone and depth? Perfect. I'll now continue seamlessly into section 4, the contrast with predictability, keeping the same motivational, psychology-rooted tone. It will be 800 to 900 words, written as a ready-made script for voiceover, connected naturally with the flow from the last section.